Are you feeling like a failure? Think you're too old for success? Let me share an incredible story that will change your mind. Today, we're exploring the remarkable journey of Colonel Sanders, the man who founded KFC at age 65. Yes, you read that right. 65 years old. Before his success, Colonel Sanders was completely broke, had no job prospects, faced rejection after rejection, had every reason to give up. Yet at an age when most people retire, he built a billion-dollar empire that continues to thrive worldwide. If you've ever thought, maybe I'm too old, perhaps success isn't meant for me, I've failed too many times already. This story will show you why it's never too late to succeed and why failure is simply part of your journey to greatness. If you enjoy motivational content that improves your English, please subscribe, like this video, and comment below. I will never give up. Now let's discover how Colonel Sanders transformed countless failures into one of the biggest success stories of all time. A difficult beginning. On September 9, 1890, a baby boy was born in a small wooden house in Indiana, USA. His name was Harlan Sanders. No one knew that this baby would one day create one of the biggest food companies in the world. Harlan's father died when he was just 6 years old. His mother had to work long hours to feed the family. Young Harlan had to take care of his younger brother and sister. By age 7, Harlan was already cooking for his family. He had to learn fast because everyone was hungry. He made simple meals with whatever food they had. When Harlan was 10, his mother remarried. His new stepfather was not kind to him. Life at home became very hard. At age 12, Harlan left home to find work. He was just a child, but he needed to earn money to live. He got a job on a farm. He worked long hours for very little pay. Harlan could not go to school anymore. He only finished the 6th grade. But he never stopped learning. He taught himself many things by watching others and trying new ideas. Many jobs, many failures. For many years, Harlan tried different jobs. He was a farmer, a train worker, a firefighter, a tire salesman, an insurance salesman, and many other things. Some jobs were good, some were bad, but nothing seemed to last. When things started to go well, something would happen, and he would lose his job. At age 16, Harlan joined the army. He served in Cuba but never saw any fighting. After the army, he got married and had 3 children. In his 30s, Harlan started a ferry boat company. It was going well. Then another company built a bridge nearby. People stopped using his ferry. His business failed. Next, he tried selling lamps. He was good at it. But after a few years, the company went out of business. Harlan was out of work again. Later, he sold insurance. He was doing well. Then he got into a fight with his boss. He lost his job again. By age 40, Harlan Sanders had failed at many jobs. He had little money. He had a family to feed. Things looked bad. The first taste of success. In 1930, during the Great Depression, a time when many people lost their jobs, Harlan got a chance to run a gas station in Kentucky. He was 40 years old. At this gas station, he started cooking meals for travelers. He didn't have a restaurant. He served food at his own dining table in the back of the gas station. People loved his food. They told others about it. Soon, more people came to eat than to buy gas. Harlan's cooking became famous in the area. His best dish was fried chicken. He used a secret mix of herbs and spices. He cooked the chicken in a special way that made it crispy on the outside and juicy inside. Harlan worked hard to make his chicken perfect. He tried different recipes. He tested different cooking methods. Finally, he found a way to cook chicken that was faster but still tasted great. In 1935, the governor of Kentucky was impressed by Harlan's food. He made Harlan a Kentucky Colonel. This is a special title of honor in Kentucky. From then on, people called him Colonel Sanders. The restaurant years. By 1937, Colonel Sanders's food was so popular that he opened a real restaurant. It had 142 seats. He called it Sanders Court and Cafe. The restaurant was a big success. People drove for hours just to eat his famous fried chicken. The Colonel worked very hard. He was in the kitchen early every morning. He made sure everything was perfect. His secret recipe used 11 herbs and spices. He never wrote it down. He kept it in his head. Even his family didn't know all the ingredients. For over 10 years, the restaurant did very well. The Colonel was finally successful. He had money. He had respect. He had created something special. But then, in 1955, something terrible happened. The government built a new highway. It went around the town, not through it. Suddenly, no one drove past the restaurant anymore. Business dropped fast. The Colonel had to sell his restaurant. At age 65, when most people retire, he was starting over again with almost nothing. Starting over at 65. Most people would give up at age 65, but not Colonel Sanders. He believed in his chicken. He knew people loved it. He had an idea. He would sell his recipe to other restaurants. They would pay him for each chicken they cooked using his recipe. The Colonel packed his car with a pressure cooker, flour, and his secret spices. He drove across America visiting restaurants. He knocked on doors and asked owners to try his chicken. Many restaurant owners said no. They laughed at this old man in a white suit. But the Colonel didn't give up. He kept trying. In his first year, he was rejected 1,009 times, but he kept going. He lived in his car. He often had very little money. Sometimes he slept at gas stations. Finally, a restaurant said yes, then another, then more. By 1964, there were 600 restaurants selling Kentucky Fried Chicken in the United States and Canada. The Colonel was 74 years old. After a lifetime of failures, he was finally successful. KFC grows big. In 1964, Colonel Sanders sold the KFC company for $2 million, about $17 million in today's money. But he didn't stop working. He became the face of the company. He traveled 250,000 miles each year, visiting KFC restaurants. He made sure they were making the chicken correctly. He talked to customers. He appeared in TV commercials. People loved seeing the Colonel in his white suit, white hair, and white beard. He became one of the most recognized people in America. KFC grew bigger and bigger. It spread to other countries. Today, there are over 25,000 KFC restaurants in more than 145 countries around the world. The Colonel's face is still on every bucket of KFC chicken. His image is one of the most famous in the world. The secret recipe. The Colonel's secret recipe is still a secret today. It is kept in a safe in Kentucky. Only a few people know all 11 herbs and spices. The company mixes part of the spices in one place and part in another place. Then they bring them together. This way, no one person knows the complete recipe. The Colonel was very serious about his recipe. He would get angry if restaurants didn't make the chicken exactly the right way. He wanted everything to be perfect. Even after selling the company, he sometimes visited KFC restaurants by surprise. If he didn't like the food, he would show them how to make it better. One time, he visited a KFC and hated the gravy so much that he called it wallpaper paste. He was always honest about his food. The man behind the image. Behind the famous image, Colonel Sanders was a real person with strengths and weaknesses. He had a big temper. He could get very angry when things weren't right. He used strong words when he was upset. Some people found him difficult to work with. But he was also kind and generous. The colonel gave a lot of money to help children and poor people. He started a special organization to help people. He believed in helping others who were struggling. In his personal life, the colonel was married twice. His first marriage lasted over 39 years. After his wife died, he got married again at age 80. The colonel loved to cook until the end of his life. Even when he was very rich and famous, he still enjoyed making meals for his family and friends. Despite becoming rich, the colonel lived a simple life. He didn't buy fancy things. He said, "I still cook my own breakfast most mornings. I still iron my own clothes." Final years. Even in his 80s, Colonel Sanders kept working. He traveled the world, opening new KFC restaurants in different countries. He wrote books about his life. He appeared on TV shows. He became a beloved figure in American culture. In 1980, Colonel Sanders became sick with leukemia, a type of blood cancer. He died on December 16, 1980, at age 90. Thousands of people came to his funeral. The governor of Kentucky spoke about his life. People from all over the world sent messages of sympathy. Colonel Sanders lived a remarkable life. From a poor boy who left home at 12 to a world-famous businessman at 80, his journey was truly amazing. The legacy continues. Today, KFC is one of the largest fast food companies in the world. It makes billions of dollars every year. Millions of people eat the Colonel's chicken every day. The Colonel's face is still on every KFC sign, every bucket, and every box. His image is known in almost every country. KFC has changed over the years. They've added new foods to the menu. They've opened restaurants in places the Colonel never visited. But they still use his secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices. They still pressure cook the chicken the way he taught them. His spirit lives on in every piece of KFC chicken. In 2011, the notebook where the Colonel wrote his secret recipe was found. It was in a box in the basement of a KFC manager's home. The company moved it to a more secure location. Lessons from the Colonel. The Colonel's life teaches us many important lessons. Here are some things we can learn from him. Never give up. The Colonel faced many failures. He lost jobs. His businesses failed, but he kept trying. He never gave up on his dreams. It's never too late. The Colonel was 65 when he started KFC. Most people would have given up at that age, but he believed in himself and his chicken. Be proud of what you do. The Colonel wanted his chicken to be perfect every time. He was proud of his work. He never accepted less than his best. Be yourself. The Colonel didn't try to be like other businessmen. He wore his white suit. He spoke his mind. He was always himself. Believe in your ideas. Many people laughed at the Colonel's plan, but he believed in his chicken recipe. He knew it was special. Work hard. The Colonel worked long hours all his life. Even when he was rich and famous, he kept working hard. He never stopped trying to make things better. Age is just a number. The Colonel proved that you can start something new at any age. You're never too old to follow your dreams. Your turn to succeed. The Colonel's story is special because he was just a normal person. He wasn't born rich. He didn't have a good education. He faced many problems in life, but he had three important things: a good idea, hard work, and never giving up. You have those things too. You have ideas. You can work hard. You can keep trying even when things get difficult. Maybe you've failed before. Maybe people have laughed at your dreams. Maybe you think you're too old to start something new. Remember Colonel Sanders. He failed many times. People laughed at him. He was 65 when he started KFC. But he succeeded. You can too. Your path might be different. Your dream might not be about chicken, but the lessons are the same. Believe in yourself. Work hard. Never give up. And one day your success story might inspire others, just like the Colonel's story inspires us today. His story shows us that it doesn't matter where you start in life. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. What matters is that you keep trying. In the Colonel's own words, the only real failure is the person who gives up. So don't give up on your dreams. Your time to succeed might be just around the corner.